वेलकम बैक टू माय कोडवर्स। तो अगर आप लोग भी अपना करियर डेटा साइंस, मशीन लर्निंग और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की तरफ ट्रांजिशन करना चाहते हैं या अपने कॉन्सेप्ट्स को ऑनेस्टली स्ट्रांग बनाना चाहते हैं, यू केम टू द राइट प्लेस। हमने अपनी जर्नी पाइथन को बिल्कुल बिगिनर लेवल से शुरू की है, जहां हम एक स्ट्रांग फाउंडेशन बना रहे हैं और फिर धीरे धीरे एडवांस डेटा साइंस और मशीन लर्निंग तक ग्रो करेंगे। बस एक छोटा डिस्क्लेमर, अगर आपने मेरा लिस्ट और टपल्स का वीडियो देख लिया हो तो आज का टॉपिक नेचुरली कनेक्ट होगा। और अब बिना कोई देरी के शुरू करते हैं। These are the topics for this video. Everything from dictionary basics to default tick, counter, and a mini project. And I promise, once you finish this video, you won't need to learn dictionaries from anywhere else. कोडिंग स्टार्ट करना सिंपल है। गूगल पे कोलैब सर्च करो, पहला लिंक क्लिक करो, न्यू नोटबुक क्लिक करो और बूम, you're ready to code. चलो, let's connect our notebook. Colab will set up everything we need to start coding. Let us give our notebook a proper name first. We'll start this topic by understanding what is a dictionary. Like we have already seen some data structure like list and tuples, dictionary is also a data structure in Python that stores information in key value pairs. Think of it like a real dictionary. A physical dictionary में क्या रहता? We'll have words and their meanings, right? Same way, you look up a word, the key, and get its meaning, the value. We will understand this better by creating a dictionary. Text inside this flower brackets defines a dictionary. Each key, example word 1, has a corresponding value, example meaning 1. Here, keys must be unique. They are usually strings or numbers. Now let us print and see the whole dictionary. To get the meaning of a word, we access the dictionary using square brackets. Python looks up the key word 2 and returns its value. Let us quickly look another example. We'll create a dictionary called student and we'll store some information about the student. तो यहाँ नेम, एज और सिटी हमारे कीज है और उनके सामने जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है वो वैल्यूज है। डिक्शनरी का मेन फायदा ये है कि डेटा को क्लीन और रीडेबल फॉर्म में स्टोर करता। Now let's see different ways to create dictionaries. In this example, we'll create dictionary using curly braces, like we have already seen. Here name and age are keys and Syed and 21 are the corresponding values. Now let's see how to make an empty dictionary. This is an empty dictionary as there are no keys and no values. We'll see how to update values in it later. Another not so Pythonic way to create dictionary is using dict function. Here we use keyword arguments inside dict to create this dictionary. We'll understand what are keyword arguments when we study functions. So basically both methods, one is curly braces and this dict, do the same thing. Dictionaries can take only unique keys, but it can store different types of values. We'll see with an example. Dictionaries can store strings, numbers, lists, booleans. This makes dictionary very powerful for representing real-world data. Now let's see some rules of keys and values. डिक्शनरी का सिंपल रूल है, इसमें की स्पेच रिस्ट्रिक्शंस है, वैल्यूज कुछ भी हो सकती, नंबर, स्ट्रिंग, लिस्ट, इवन अनदर डिक्शनरी, सेम सेम वैल्यूज भी हो सकते। बट कीज पे रिस्ट्रिक्शन ये है कि कीज यूनिक होना और इम्यूटेबल होना। इसके रूल्स को एग्जाम्पल से समझेंगे। पहला रूल है कि कीज मस्ट बी यूनिक। अगर आप सेम की दो बार लिखे पाइथन लास्ट वाली की वैल्यू पर कंसिडर करता। सो दिस इज आवर डिक्शनरी विल मेक श्योर इट हैज यूनिक कीज ऑलवेज। सेकेंड रूल यह है कि कीज मस्ट बी इम्यूटेबल। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रूल है। वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन व्हाट इज इम्यूटेबल मीन्स, जैसे स्ट्रिंग्स, नंबर्स, टपल। Let's check this with some examples. इसमें सारे केस वैलिड है, इसलिए कोई एरर नहीं आ रहा। लिस्ट म्यूटेबल होती, इसलिए उसको की नहीं बना सकते। पाइथन एरर डाल देता। और वैल्यूज पे तो कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन है ही नहीं, सो वी कैन हैव एनी वैल्यूज, इवन सेपरेट डिक्शनरी ऑल्सो। नाउ वी लर्न हाउ टू एक्सेस वैल्यूज फ्रॉम द डिक्शनरी। डिक्शनरी के अंदर वैल्यूज एक्सेस करने के दो मेन तरीके होते हैं, नॉर्मल स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट्स और डॉट गेट मेथड। दोनों का यूज़ अलग सिचुएशन में होता है। वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन हाउ टू एक्सेस विद स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट्स। एक एग्जाम्पल से देखते हैं। ये डायरेक्ट एक्सेस होता है। बट अगर की एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती तो एरर आएगा। अब देखते हैं हाउ टू एक्सेस सेफली विद डॉट गेट। डॉट गेट मेथड सेफ होता है। अगर डिक्शनरी में वो की है तो उसकी वैल्यू रिटर्न करता, और अगर डिक्शनरी में वो की नहीं है तो नन रिटर्न करता, एरर नहीं डालता। एक डिफ़ॉल्ट वैल्यू का फीचर भी है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू वांट टू रिटर्न a default value instead of none, you can do that. Let's confirm that अपने डिक्शनरी में there is no key called city. तो सिंपल रूल है, अगर आप श्योर हो की एग्जिस्ट करती, यूज ब्रैकेट्स, अगर डाउट हो ऑलवेज यूज डॉट गेट। नाउ लेट्स सी हाउ टू ऐड एंड अपडेट डेटा इनसाइड ए डिक्शनरी। बहुत सिंपल है। एडिंग ए न्यू की वैल्यू पेयर। If I want to add a new piece of information like city, I just use square brackets and assign a value. Python automatically adds that key. Let's see updating an existing key. If a key already exists, like age, and I want to change its value, I simply reassign it using the same syntax. बस value override हो जाती है. Now let's do it using .update method. The update method lets you change multiple values at once. You pass another dictionary and any matching keys gets updated instantly, और जो keys match ना हो रहे हो वो gets added. डिक्शनरी को अपडेट करना बहुत सिंपल है. अगर की न्यू है तो ऐड हो जाती है, अगर की ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट करती है तो वैल्यू अपडेट हो जाती है. सिंपल एंड क्लीन. नाउ लेट्स सी हाउ टू रिमूव डेटा फ्रॉम अ डिक्शनरी. We use del to remove by key. If you know exactly which key you want to delete, just use del. It removes that key value pair completely. Just like that, city हट गया. Let's remove using pop. Pop method not only removes the key, it also returns the value that got removed. So if you want to delete something and also use that value, pop method is perfect. इससे एज भी डिलीट हो गया और वो डिलीटेड वैल्यू भी मिल गई. फुल कन्वीनियंट. Now let's see how to use pop item method. Pop item removes whichever key value pair was added last. It basically treats the dictionary like a stack. Last in, first out. थोड़ा एडवांस लगता बट काफ़ी यूजफुल होता कभी कभी. Keep in mind that this method will not remove the last updated key. It will remove the last inserted key. To check this, हम लोग रिकॉर्ड में p का वैल्यू चेंज करके फिर पॉप आइटम करते हैं. देखते हैं क्या रिमूव होता है. देखो, it removed c only. Now let's see about clear method. If you want to wipe out the entire dictionary, then use .clear method. It empties dictionary completely. Quick recap. Del key removes specific key. Pop key removes and return value. Pop item removes last inserted value. और clear method empties the dictionary. That's it. Dictionary clear करना भी इतना simple. Now let's learn to check if a particular key is present in a dictionary or not. बहुत simple logic है. Just use the in keyword. In this example, name is already a key in the dictionary. So name in student returns true. मतलब key present है पक्का. Now if I check for a key that's not there, like city, Python returns false. Simple. अगर की नहीं है तो false. एक important note, यहाँ बहुत बिगनर्स कंफ्यूज होते हैं. इन कीवर्ड सिर्फ कीज चेक करता है, वैल्यूज नहीं. So if I write 25 in student, so even though 25 is a value, it still returns false. वैल्यू को चेक मत करो यार, की से चेक होते हैं. And checking for age again returns true because it's a key. Now let's look at some very useful dictionary methods. ये सब डेली यूज में आते हैं. Keys method returns all the keys in the dictionary. So if you want to see what fields your dictionary has, just call student.keys. बहुत straightforward. Values method gives you only the values without the keys. Basically, जो डेटा स्टोर हुआ है वो यहाँ दिखाता. Items method returns both keys and values as pairs. Very useful when you want to loop through the dictionary. दोनों मिलके आते package deal. We already saw this update method before. It lets you add or update multiple key value pairs in one go. एक shot में सब update हो जाता. Set default method is interesting. It adds the key only if it's not already present. If the key exists, then it does nothing. For example, if I do set default marks as 90, marks नहीं थे, so add हो गया. Now when I do set default city as Mumbai, city already Hyderabad है, तो value change नहीं होती. These are some of the most common and powerful methods you'll use with dictionaries. Once you know these, working with dictionaries becomes super easy. Now let's see how to loop through a dictionary. ये टॉपिक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है because we often need to access keys and values one by one. If we simply loop through a dictionary, Python loops through the keys by default. So it prints keys only, not the values. If you want only the values, then use student.values method. Now the output will be the values. Looping through key value pairs. If we want both key and value together, we use student.items method. This will give us key value pair, which we can unpack into two variables like I and j. Here we are printing both key and value as a pair. Now let's talk about nested dictionaries. मतलब है dictionary inside another dictionary. ये बहुत useful होता है when you want to store structured data. In this example, students is a dictionary where each student ID like S1 and S2 contains another dictionary with name and age. So it works like small database. पूरा record एक जगह. To access something inside, you change the keys. For example, if you want to know the name of student 2, you have to go students of S2 of name. Simple. एक key के अंदर दूसरी key. You can also update values inside it just like a normal dictionary. In this example, I'm changing the age of S1 to 23. And if you want to add a new student, you simply assign a new key, the dictionary as a value. Here I'm adding student S3. अब डिक्शनरी में 3 स्टूडेंट्स हो गए, full set. Now let's look at dictionary comprehension. This is a super clean and Pythonic way to create dictionaries in one line. So this is a basic pattern. Inside the curly braces, the key value pair for item in iterable. Remember this shape. बस यही formula है. Let's see some examples. Here I'm creating a dictionary where each number becomes a key and square becomes the value. One line, super neat. We can also add a condition inside comprehension. In this example, I'm taking only the even numbers and storing their squares. Here the condition used is n is divisible by 2. If n modulo 2 is 0, that means it is an even number. Let's see an example where we convert a list to a dictionary. This is very common. Here each name becomes a key and the length of the name becomes its value. Clean and readable. Once you start using this, you'll naturally write cleaner code. Short, sweet, and powerful. Now let's understand defaultdict. This function is not inbuilt, so we'll have to import it first. Defaultdict is basically a dictionary but with a twist. If a key is missing, Python automatically creates it with a default value. मतलब key नहीं है तो भी चल जाता without any errors. Firstly, let us understand what are these default values with some examples. Here defaultdict int means any missing key will start with a default value of 0. Similarly, defaultdict list means the default value for any missing key will be an empty list. And defaultdict string means any missing key starts with a blank string. So the idea is simple. Instead of giving an error for missing keys, defaultdict creates the key with a default factory value. Now let's see some real use cases of this. The most common use case is counting. Normally, you would check if key exists. With defaultdict, you just increase the count. It starts from 0 automatically. Let us see another use case, like grouping data into lists. Here also, defaultdict creates an empty list, so .append method works without error. Counter is another super useful class from the collections module. It's made for counting things, letters, words, items, anything. So first we'll import it. Now let's say counting items in a list with an example. Counter automatically counts how many times each item appears. Normal dict में manually करना पड़ता था. Another use case is counting characters in a string. Every character and its frequency, all calculated instantly. Counter class also has most common items method. Most common method gives us the top n frequently occurring items. We can convert counter back to a normal dictionary using dict. Yay! Now we are ready for a mini project. चलो एक छोटा सा real world example बनाते हैं. A tiny social network, just like Instagram or Facebook, but Python में simple version. In this mini project, we'll build a tiny social network. We'll have 10 users. and we'll define who is friends with whom. Then we'll add a friends list to each user and fill it, completely using Python dictionaries and loops. बहुत simple but very powerful example. These are our users. Each user is a dictionary with an ID and a name. So basically this is like a database. Every user has an ID from 0 to 9 and a name. Next, we'll define friendships. These are pairs of user IDs. 0, 1 means hero is friends with Dun. 1, 2 means Dun is friends with Sue. So this list tells who knows whom. Now for every user, we will add an empty list called friends. अभी list खाली है because we haven't filled the friendships yet. Now comes the main part. We will loop through every friendship pair and we'll add each person into the other person's friend list. For example, if I, j are friends, we will add j to the i's friend list and I to the j's friend list. So friendship becomes two-way, बिल्कुल real world जैसा. Now if we print users, we can see every user has a populated list of friends. This is our tiny social network. चलो आखिर में एक fun analytics करेंगे. Let's count how many friends each person has. Hero has 2 friends, Dun has 3 friends. Perfect. So that's our mini project for today. Bonus tip. Let's implement dictionary comprehension on this. Perfect. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. अगर आपको डिक्शनरीज का कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर लगा and if you learned even one new thing from this video, make sure to like the video, comment your thoughts and subscribe to the channel. Because अभी बस शुरुआत है. We are building your Python foundation brick by brick. And in the next video, we are moving to Python sets, a super underrated but very powerful data type. You definitely don't want to miss that. So hit subscribe, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep coding, keep growing.